everyone. I'd like to share a message of hope from my heart to yours, and I thank you kindly for your attention. It's now been over 3 weeks since the unthinkable has happened. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, our beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains of southern Appalachia in western North Carolina have been steeped in overwhelming sadness, devastation, and a complete state of shock and despair. For those of you who aren't here to witness this, I don't think you will see in the news just how bad it really is. But many beautiful people have lost absolutely everything. Many have perished, and many are still missing and unaccounted for. This historic storm unleashed torrential rainfall, with some areas receiving over 30 inches of rain, resulting in catastrophic flooding. The sheer volume of water was unreal. It started raining where I am on Wednesday, September 25th, before the storm even got here, and it just never stopped. Then, by late Thursday night and early Friday morning, when Helene finally arrived, we were already flooded. No one was at all prepared for what would happen next. Usually hurricanes lose strength after hitting land, but this immense monster was so intensely powerful that even after climbing 4 states north, it hit with a vengeance, and none of us were expecting what occurred. I myself figured, like most did, we'd have flooding and probably even tornadoes. But by Thursday night, when I saw that the French Broad River was cresting close to 25 feet above normal range, I just knew we were in trouble. And early Friday morning, we all woke to the absolute worst scenario possible. Entire towns were completely washed away, leaving behind unimaginable destruction. And when I say completely washed away, I mean just that. None of us have seen anything like it. The immense force of the water coming down the mountains literally carved rivers out of nothing and took with it anything and everything in its path. I'm talking entire homes lifted up off their foundation, flying downstream like high-speed boats. Giant trees uprooted and tossed around like pieces of crumbled paper. Buildings, barns, cars, trucks, buses, even semis and big machine equipment went flying. And unfortunately, so did many beautiful and unsuspecting people, children and animals. We have all cried many tears of incredible sadness and empathy as these horrors have unfolded before our eyes. People losing family members right in front of them, completely helpless to the unimaginable forces and strength of the water and the storm. Then, with the loss of electricity, coupled with absolutely no internet, no cell phone service, and no communications of any kind, and literally having no idea what was happening for several days straight. In a world where we are all so connected to constant information 24/7, it literally felt like we were thrown back into the Stone Age. No tech and no way to communicate with anyone. And also, most unfortunately, no way for anyone to call for help. They are calling it a once-in-a-thousand-year event. I think they are saying this because they just don't know how else to express the extreme severity of what has happened. In comparison, they have referred to Hurricane Katrina that hit New Orleans in 2005, a once-in-a-400-year event. The horrors of this incident are now marked in all of our memories and our broken hearts. The sights and the smells are that of nightmares. I'm showing this footage that I have gathered from multiple sources so that you can see some of what has happened. Because honestly, without the visual accounts, it's very hard to imagine the unimaginable. Especially the astronomical amount of water and damage that has occurred. So much is destroyed, and even over 3 weeks later, Many cities and towns look like war zones. I thought being at ground zero on 9/11 was bad, and that I would never see that kind of destruction again. Well, guess what? It looks exactly the same here. Like bombs have gone off everywhere. The only difference being that the explosions from 9/11 were contained in a relatively small area of Lower Manhattan. But here, the destruction is spread out over 20 counties, including so many cities and towns. Some of the military personnel that are here to help have said that this looks to them a lot like Baghdad or Afghanistan, but with a lot more trees. Those who are on the outside looking in have asked, why do mountains? To which he replied, if I was there, I would run now and fast. And boy, was he right. The few folks I've seen on social media who said that they did see or get some kind of an evacuation notice, they said it was already too late to get anywhere. Everything was flooding and most places had no way out. Unlike any hurricane I've ever seen in Florida or Texas, where everything is flat, these mountains bounced around this storm like a very bad dream on steroids. And all that water, rushing down from the tops of mountains, rivers, creeks, and lakes, massively expanding and overflowing unlike ever seen before. Several dams broke or even let loose, taking everything along with it at unholy speeds and forces that are almost incomprehensible. Then there were the avalanches, mudslides, and rivers literally forming right in front of your eyes, taking everything in their path with them. The mountainous terrain mixed with utter destruction has made recovery efforts very challenging, to say the least, with so many people missing and others found up high in tall trees, on rooftops, deep under piles of debris, packed under massive amounts of mud, and even many bodies washing up on the sides of rivers and in lakes and other unthinkable places. And then there were so many that were still alive but stranded without food, water, or shelter, or any way to communicate where they were and call for help. And that went on for many days. But thanks to the love of so many caring souls who have come here from all over our beautiful country to help in the recovery, it has been an immense spark of comfort and hope. People helping people. This is what it's all about. In times like these, we are quickly reminded that we really do love one another, and no matter who you are or what you believe in, regardless of your race, creed, culture, religious, or even political affiliation, we do everything we can to help one another like family. This is also what I witnessed on 9/11. In New York City, which is one of the most diverse and densely populated places on the planet, a true melting pot And again, everyone banded together to help one another, without judgment and armed only with love. And that was the glue that held us together and got us through those horrible times. And it's what's getting us all through this time, now. Friends, neighbors, strangers alike, this is the true essence of what we really are. Please never forget that. I'm reminded of Emily Dickinson in one of her poems she wrote. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. These beautiful mountains are more than just a landscape. They are ancient and alive, with a quiet yet powerful presence, steeped in rich history, biodiversity, and mystery. The Blue Ridge Mountains in southern Appalachia are home to over 4,000 species of plants, waterfalls that flow like whispers of the past, and a resilient culture preserved by generations of Appalachian people. This land has a mystical energy woven into the fabric of its forests, streams, rivers, and the very rocks beneath our feet. While the devastation is immense, the spirit of this region and its people remains unbroken. Like many, my connection to the land runs deep. And just as these mountains have endured for millions of years, so too will our community of beautiful and strong people. Together we are committed to not only surviving, but thriving in the face of this tragedy. We will rebuild and hold each other along the way. Though the road to recovery will be long, with love, hope, and resilience, we, the people of Appalachia, will rebuild and find strength in the beauty and magic of our homeland. But I'd just like to say this. We do need your continued love and prayers. Prayers for those suffering great loss. Prayers of gratitude and support for all the wonderful people who are helping in every way that they can, day after day. Prayers of protection so that the land developers won't swarm in and grab up our cherished land and historic homes and buildings. None of us want that. And prayers for all of the survivors, not just here, but for all those hit by Helene in eastern Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and all of our beloved folks out west battling terrible fires and flooding, and anyone affected by these awful storms and disasters. We also need prayers and help to clean up this destruction. As Helene's immediate impacts begin to recede, we have a serious public health threat rising in its place. Today, on October 22nd, as I am recording this, 20 days after Helene hit, over 100,000 people still lack potable water. The serious lack of clean water stretches far beyond the city of Asheville and nearby mountain communities of Swannanoa and Black Mountain. And even as federal and state officials have been sending water, the supplies are very limited and it's just not enough. Even as some service is restored, locals are being told to boil anything that doesn't come out of a bottle. Even as hundreds of thousands of people continue digging out from the devastation now, the risk of disease and toxic sickness is mounting. The shortage of potable water and the toxic stew of sewage and many other pollutants and toxic chemicals that the flood has left behind has prompted a race to avert a public health crisis here in western North Carolina. So as the cleanup continues, so much work needs to be done. We have a real environmental disaster here as well. The floodwaters were filled with sewage, gasoline, propane, oil, and many toxic chemicals. We've had no rain since the storm, and there is this layer of dried muck everywhere It not only serves as a terrible reminder of how high the waters were, but of all the toxins left behind and in the air as the cleanup takes place. Some people even had to wear hazmat suits to just clean out their homes and buildings, or even when shoveling layers of mud and toxic waste. With so many without clean water to drink, let alone use for cleaning, and not even water to flush toilets. So what can you do? Each of us has a very powerful superpower. Our ability to send intention through thought, prayer, and focused energy is a vibration that ripples out from our heart, sending the current of love and protection and healing, and it's one of the most powerful things we can do in human form. So please don't ever think it's not enough or that you're too far away. It's powerful beyond measure, and it's one of the greatest gifts of love and support we can give. The time of thinking that the unthinkable can't happen is over. Southern Appalachia just got hit with what was never thought possible, and it will surely go down as one of the worst natural disasters ever recorded in U.S. history. In these times, anything is not only possible, but it has changed from a what if to a when. So please, I beg that you be mindful of this serious wake-up call. It no longer matters where you live in the world. You are not immune. This is not meant to put you in fear, but to urge you to step into your power now and get your house in order. These are times unlike any that we have ever known, with continued threats of hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, and with many earthquakes yet to come. Natural and unnatural disasters are and will be common occurrences for everyone. And it's not just disasters that are an issue. We have several other factors to be mindful of as well. The sun is in solar maximum now until the middle of 2025 and has been shooting off X-flares left and right. There are several places at war around the world, and even cyber-related threats are imminent. Even the unfortunate divisions within our own country can create civil unrest. All of these things could potentially take down our grid and communications, and this reality is something everyone should be prepared for. Stand strong in your own power, and please get your house in order. Do this without fear or being in a state of panic. Just be smart and mindful that we live in a time where many things can bring down our grid, and we should all be prepared for that. My name is Tanya, and I moved to the mountains of Western North Carolina 17 years ago, after these mountains literally called me to come here. I've met many folks who have said the exact same thing. The magic and ancient memory held in the water and the quartz of these mountains helps us to heal and remember what we have forgotten. Only after moving here I would discover that I have an ancestral connection to this area as well, which has only made my love for this land grow stronger. I've lived in Asheville, Hendersonville, Marshall, Alexander, Weaverville, Woodfin, Clyde, and ended up finding my perfect spot where I live now, in Transylvania County, about 30 minutes south of Asheville. It's called the Land of Waterfalls here because we have over 250 in this county alone. To say that this land is special is a massive understatement. And for those of us who call these mountains home, we do so because of its magic and our love of nature.
Across the Blue Ridge Mountains to the Allegheny.
A few days after the storm, my beautiful brother suggested I sit down and write a poem, not just to help me express both my love of these mountains and my sadness, but to also share it with others. So I'd like to read it to you now. I'm calling it beneath these ancient mountains' tears. The skies broke open, fierce and wild. Helene roared upon our hills, a torrent born of wind and rain, unleashing chaos in the stills. The rivers swelled, the hollers wept, our mountains bowed beneath the flood. Towns erased, homes torn away, once thriving lives, now lost in mud. Yet in this land of ageless stone, where roots run deep and whispers grow, we feel the pulse of something more, a magic only we can know. For in the quiet of these blue-ridged hills, where emerald trees once danced in light, the heart of Appalachia beats strong, with love that shines through darkest night. The ancient earth that cradles us, she mourns yet holds us close and tight. She sings of healing in the storm, of courage rising, pure and bright. For though the storm has taken much, the soul of these hills still remains, and we, her people, stand as one, to weather through the fiercest pains. We'll rise again, we always do, like wildflowers after a springtime's rain. In every hand that reaches out, a promise that we'll heal again. So let us mourn what we have lost, but let us hold on strong and true. For in the love we share right now, together we'll find skies of blue. And in these mountains, old and wise, where every stone is bound with grace, we'll build anew, we'll thrive again, with hope that none can displace. Thank you for your time and for sharing in this expression with me, and for joining me in sending vibrations of healing energy and love to all that need it. Let us remember that at the end of every day, all we have is each other. May you be blessed with the knowledge of a sage and the wisdom of a child, always in love.